Heavy, fella. Look here.
Stand by.
One for C-Lab, two for Troy Eagle, three for Wolverine to round out the trio. In this episode, everybody dies.
Broadcasting live from inside the power band, this is The Blah. In this episode, everybody dies. I'm your host, the Wolverine, along with my single companion, as Slave 2 is not here, and that would be Head in a Jarhigo.
Yo.
Welcome to the show, folks. This week, we're talking about, this is definitely not a classic, and that would be 1989's Jean-Claude Van Damme, Cyborg. Let's get to it and do a possible high level, if that's such a thing, with a film like this. I'm gonna let you go first.
Yes, it's definitely interesting. Let's see. Probably 70% of the characters in this movie are named after various musical equipment brands. Just randomly. Our protagonist is named Gibson Rickenbacker. Yep. Two different guitar brands. Our antagonist is named Fender Tremolo, which is the bridge part of a Fender Stratocaster, I'm presuming.
Thank you for that.
There's a guy named Strat Marshall. Yeah. There's a character named Strat is the type of Fender guitar. Marshall is an amplifier. Yeah. Nady, there was a Simmons. Nady is a wireless a company that produces wireless products for vocals and guitar and keyboard and bass. Simmons was like an old electronic drum brand.
I remember that.
You know, it's just like it goes on and on with that
Pearl,
shit. And I'm
Pearl
like,
Prophet.
I'm like, did an AI write this? Like, I'm not.
Oh my
did
God.
an AI like travel to the past and write this movie? Because
I know. Well, go ahead and finish first. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Okay, yeah. So anyways, I've seen this before, like way back when. Like the only thing I remembered about it was like the cheesy, like, cyborg conversion part where like she's on the operating table and
which was
I'm not sure, still not positive why she had to be a cyborg, but anyways.
Nobody knows that.
Nobody knows. But she is.
Yeah.
And it was apparently very painful. Yeah. So kudos to her. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, no, that's a good place to leave it. And I think you could have just left it at the end of the names of all of the musical equipment that the characters were named after, and that would have summed it up, I think, for everybody.
I mean, that's yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, that kind of sums up the movie right there, is Benny rattling off all the names of the musical equipment. I don't know what else to say. Like, I saw this way back in the day, and I mean, when I was a kid, I was like, dude, cyborgs and Van Damme, and I was like, oh wow, and I probably had no idea what I was watching, and I have not seen this movie since the 1980s, and man, is it a piece of work. And there's a lot of interesting lore surrounding why the movie is the way that it is. So that I found actually more interesting than the movie itself, which is kind of an interesting mess of a film. So yeah, let's dive into it, man.
Okay, let's latch onto that for a minute.
Go.
What do you got? Because like the most I could find out was that they had some like leftover special effects and costumes and shit from like a sequel to the Masters of the Universe movie, and like an adaptation of Spider-Man that they were going to make or something along those lines.
No, that's exactly right.
So they're like, we got to do something with all this shit. Let's make a movie.
Yeah. So, I mean, just I know, right? So just to kick it off, like this was to like, I'll give like a little bit of lore, and then we can kind of reveal some more as we go on. Like, this was the last movie that Canon Films did. And we might have talked about this in a previous episode, but Golan Globus had Van Damme under contract for like 3 movies, and this was one of them. And because Canon went bankrupt, that's why the movie never got any marketing, and that's why nobody really knew about it, and that's why ultimately it flopped. It only had a $500,000 budget to start with, including Van Damme's salary. So that should also tell everybody quite a bit about it. And Benny's right that
That's almost impressive.
Yeah, it's almost impressive, man. I mean, no, it kind of is actually that they got what they got with that kind of budget, because the original cut of the film was like over 2 hours long, man. So they had tons and tons and tons of footage that got left on the floor. And I think that, like Benny said, this movie, Canon had already made a deal with Marvel to produce a live action Spider-Man movie. They were also working on a Masters of the Universe sequel, and they had all of the costumes, all of the sets, not all of the sets, but most of the sets for both of those films already built and ready to go. And then Canon went bankrupt. This was the last movie they squeezed out. So all of the costuming and all of the set pieces are from said Masters of the Universe sequel and Spider-Man movie that never saw the light of day. That's my so far bit of back lore.
So this is like we gotta use all this shit.
Yeah,
that we already paid.
Yeah,
for.
Yeah, pretty much.
We gotta make something out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. We gotta dress it up into like Mad Max. I mean, I don't know if Mad Max had come out yet or not.
Oh,
right.
Well, yeah, we took the Road Warrior had. Yeah,
right. Let me do a quick little ejection here.
Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because it was in 1989.
Mad Max, the first one was 79, dude.
80, yes.
Road Warrior was
and then Thunderdome was in 84, 86, something like that.
Oh shit! Really? It was that early into the decade?
I thought so. I might be wrong.
No, I think you're probably right. All right, so we had Mad Max 79, 81 for Road Warrior, Thunderdome
85.
You're right, 85, Fury Road 2015. So this movie is obviously, it was either heavily influenced by Mad Max or it was recut to look as such with the material that they had to work with. Now, another interesting nugget about this movie is that after they were done filming it, the director apparently wanted to make it into a 2+ hour like rock opera with no dialogue in it, and the studio was like, no effing way. So Van Damme came in and said he came in and he had a little bit of clout because Bloodsport was a smash. It was huge, dude. People loved Bloodsport, myself included, and I'm sure yourself. And he said to the producers, look, can I bring in, my friend Sheldon Lettich, who he had worked with on Bloodsport, and do a recut of the movie? And that was really the only thing that saved the movie and got us to the version that we watched, because the original was much longer and much weirder and also much more violent. They had to cut and cut and cut to get it down from an X rating to an R rating.
I don't know. I kind of want to see
the original.
I don't know if saved is the right terminology there, but
I think
the article that I read described it as the director wanted to do a black and white, wanted it to be black and white, and wanted to score it to intense heavy metal music.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Which, I mean, that might have made it more interesting. I don't know.
It might have been cool, dude. It would have been had a kind of like 80s heavy metal video vibe to it, but like the 2-hour version. I could see that.
Yeah, I don't know if 2 hours would be.
It wouldn't be palatable for me personally, but I mean,
considering how unpalatable it was at whatever time it clocked in, and more of it, I'm not sure is a good thing.
No, I agree, dude. I mean, an hour and 26, like, I got super distracted in the middle of this movie, man, and I was just like, what? I don't know what I got distracted by, but then I was like, oh wait, yeah, I gotta finish. I gotta finish watching this.
I actually have to keep my eyes on this fucking POS.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Bit of a slog.
I was trying really, really hard to kind of see the vision behind what I was watching on the screen and all that, and it was really, really hard. And I think the kind of the point I was driving at before was that whatever heavy metal rock opera vision that the original director had when Van Damme and Sheldon Lettich got a hold of it to cut it down, like I think that this was the best that they could do with the material that they had to work with. And you're right, saving it isn't really saying a whole lot, but if this is the best that they got, I can't imagine what they had to work with and what was left on the cutting room floor. So
yeah, I can't imagine how convoluted it was, but I don't know, maybe the reason for Pearl Profit's two other musical instrument brands, Pearl Drums, Profit Synthesizer, why she had to become a cyborg would have been a good thing to leave in. But
yeah. What? Well, so we just get because it points
like we want to call the movie Cyborg, right. So we'll just leave that part in, but we won't explain it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm
because like literally they could have just like left that out.
No. I'm glad that you said that because getting distracted watching a movie like this, like I got to the end and I was like I was pretty invested at that point, but I was like, wait a second, I started questioning myself in my memory. I was like, did I watch that part? Did they explain why she was a cyborg? And the answer is no. Thank you. The answer is no.
The answer
because
is
I couldn't remember.
It is not.
Yeah, so they don't explain.
I mean, they explain it as in they say she needs to do it to get the cure. In fucking Hotlanta or whatever. So
in Hotlanta,
I don't know why, but that's the reason why. Like,
yeah, I mean, like it seems to me like they had some kind of like a kind of a cool premise for this story, man. You know what I mean? Like if they had more budget, I mean, I don't love dealing in ifs, but if they had more budget, if they had more time and a better script, it could conceivably have been a cool idea seen come to fruition. I'm posing that like a question, and I don't know why. What?
Not with this cast.
Not with this cast. Okay.
That's okay.
All right. Benny has spoken. That's it. Not with this cast. Yeah. So, all right. Let me downgrade that. I think they had the sort of the kernels of like a potentially good idea, and that was it. And it never came to fruition.
I guess. I don't know. It's flimsy no matter how you dice it. But we've got to go you've got to travel from New York to Atlanta and back to New York.
And then the guy is like,
we're going to send you off with Strat Gibson. Yeah. But first, we've got to turn you into a cyborg.
And he's like, come on, I'll get you there. It'll be fun. It's like, yeah, no, it's not, dude. It's a plague-ridden wasteland.
I'm prepared. But why? Yeah. I don't know. Because we want to.
So dumb, man. Yeah, all right. So we never find out why she was turned into a cyborg. I will say that when they did that little flashback to when she was becoming a cyborg and they had the close-up of the eye and like they pulled the eye up and it had like all those optic filaments like coming down off of it, I was like, wow, that's actually a pretty cool shot. Like that's well done. It looks realistic. It looks pretty cool. And it turns out that was the only cool shot in the whole movie.
I'm distinctly remembering seeing the trailer for it and being like, whoa, I got to see this. This looks weird. Right. And then like literally that's the only part like that in the entire movie. The rest of it's just like this like trashy fucking, we have Mad Max at home bullshit.
Oh, no, dude. I can't. I'm not going to let you get away with that this week. It's beyond we have Mad Max at home. It's beyond we have Road Warrior at home. It's beyond we have Waterworld at home. It is, I filmed this shit in my backyard. In fact, I even wrote that in my notes, dude, because that is exactly how it felt at one point in the beginning.
All right. Okay. It's Mad Max fan
fiction.
It's
like, exactly. It's like it's like that Star Wars fan fiction we watched where we ended up getting your name, Jar Higo, from years and years and years ago. I think.
Jar Higo, the Sith Lords are coming into the back door.
So bad. So I wrote in my notes, I filmed this in my backyard last weekend. Like that is what it looks like at points. It looks like they're just running around literal New England in the woods, just kind of doing whatever, man, and it's and it's like, I don't know, there's a part of me that's kind of bummed out because like I know Van Damme, like, you can say what you want about him, but I know he's really into being an actor, and like I know he really wanted to do that, and like I could tell that he was really putting a lot of energy and effort into this, man. And you can see it in the flashback scenes contrasted with the current timeline scenes and all of that stuff, man. And so my heart kind of goes out to him, in a respect that he was really trying to make it into something good, I just think that all the other, it's like that thing where, we got all the cans for the 6-pack, but just that plastic thing that holds it all together is just not quite there. It's missing.
Like carry it around in a wet paper bag. And
exactly, man.
It falls off and the cans get all dented. One of them gets a hole. It's like,
yeah, right. And you get that like annoying dent on the bottom of one of them on the corner, dude. And it's upsetting.
And they get sand all over them. And you're like, fuck.
Totally. So, it's kind of sad in that respect. But yeah, I mean, it's like, it looks like they're just running around in New England. You know what I mean? Like in the backwoods, like behind my house. It's weird.
Right. Until they get to the city, and then it's like a fucking dystopian hellscape. Like the sky is red and there's like thunder and lightning and like everything's fucking busted.
Totally.
Like, for some reason, even though it's like green pastures and, beautiful rural New England,
Pastoral,
essentially part of the movie.
Yeah. I didn't get that part. I didn't get, like, if the world was ridden by some world-ending plague, like, why was everything so idyllic when they're out in the country, dude? And, like, the houses are still intact and all that. Then they get into the urban parts, and it's just like a filthy wasteland,
I think trying to parse what's going on or ask even the question why with this movie is just, it's a mistake.
It's a fool's errand.
It's just unask the question.
Unask the question.
This is just like Mad Max fan fiction with a cyborg for some reason that was written by like a fucking 13-year-old kid, basically.
Totally.
Yeah, and then Gibson Rickenbacker gets crucified, and then it's just like a sequence of events vomited out of the fucking brain of like a disturbed teenager, and that's it. Like it's not much.
No, that sums it up pretty good, man. I mean, Jesus.
It's strangely entertaining,
at
like
times.
when you can pay attention to it. But like, I found myself at times being like, wow, they actually like, whatever they did to transfer it from film to HD or upscaling or whatever they did, like it actually looked pretty good. Like I'll give it that.
Yeah,
like,
no, it did.
Watching it on my nice TV, I was like, oh, this actually looks fucking really solid. Like it looked good.
No, it did. And I mean,
not to say anything for the photography or, any of that stuff, but like it looked like it looked better than I remembered it looking like, back in the day.
I remember turning it, like, I think it was on Tubby for free for a minute, and I started watching it with the intent of watching the whole thing. This is like months ago, and I didn't, but I remember it looking worse.
Yeah.
So like when I watched it this time, I had to rent it on Amazon, and it looked good. You're right. It looked
same.
Yeah, it looked pretty crisp. Wish I had that $3.99
pretty
back.
crisp. Oh God. Yeah. I was afraid because I started watching it and then like I like couldn't get back to it because I had a bunch of shit going on, and I was like, oh, if I have to pay for this piece of shit again, I'm going to be so mad.
Yeah,
Thankfully, my viewing period hadn't like eclipsed, so I was able to finish it without paying another $3.99.
I like that they give you that 48 hours. It gives you a little bit of flexibility, man, especially on a stinker like this one, man.
Mm. Yeah, that's funny. I think I did the same thing, maybe a year or so ago. Like I partially watched it on Tubby for free or something. I was like, oh my God, wow. We should do this and eviscerate it.
Yeah, but you're right. It does actually look good. And I mean, for what it is and, what they had to work with, like the costuming, like for Wasteland, like plague-ridden wasteland, like the costuming is actually pretty good. You know, I was like, everybody looks gross enough. You know, they look dirty enough. I mean, I think
chainmail aside.
Okay, we're gonna get to him in a second, man, because I got a lot to say about that. But aside from that was Fender, right? Yeah,
yes,
Fender Tremolo.
Fender Tremolo.
Yeah, so aside from Fender, like, you know, most of the costuming was pretty good, man. And I think some of the people were wearing like these kind of like either net or like mesh masks over their faces, man, that I thought looked pretty cool, man. It kind of it distorted their features, so you really couldn't see them, man, and it kind of had a somewhat sinister look, and I was like, that's pretty solid. I like that a lot, actually, especially for that kind of
left. I was just gonna say it must have been like leftover shit from the Spider-Man attempt.
It must have been, man, but it definitely worked for like plague-ridden wasteland. I was feeling it, you know. I was like, if you know, you
and then the other half of me was like when guys put a fucking pantyhose over their face to rub them.
Well, I thought of that too, man, but it looked better than that. You know what I mean? Like when people throw a pantyhose over their face, like it's funny looking and it's kind of sinister looking, but this was like solid. It was like it was better than pantyhose over the face for a bank, but you know. And I was like, all right, this is pretty solid, dude. Like, it's pretty menacing looking, and it's like, you know, when I encounter mutants in the plague-ridden wasteland, like, I want them to be scary looking, dude. So, you know, kudos to Cyborg for that. I'm down.
Sorry, I'm just thinking pantyhose should be another character that lives in the same like comic universe as Leathersmith, you know.
Totally. Yeah, panty hose.
panty ho.
Fender, panty. Pearl, come over here. It's so stupid. I love it. That was great.
It is really stupid.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, so the costuming, I was digging on the costuming, dude. I was also digging on the weaponry, man. You know, like the weaponry was
the Gatling gun that's not a Gatling gun.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Strat Gibson was carrying around. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name.
Well, no, it's his name is Gibson.
Fucking Ibanez Steinberger.
No, Van Damme's name was Gibson, dude.
Yes, I
So
know.
stupid.
It was Gibson Rickenbacker,
Right.
which
Oh my god, this is terrible. Yeah, so Gibson's gun was I was kind of digging it. It had like, you know, post-apocalyptic, like it looked rigged enough, but it also looked like it worked. You know, it was like a sort of like a 4-shot kind of revolver rifle, sort of. You know, I don't know. It looked cool. I was digging it.
yeah, I guess as like a wasteland cobbled together weapon kind of a thing. It's
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. Part of me is like it's like the pipe guns from Star Trek.
Oh my god,
or whatever.
dude,
Yeah, like,
that's right.
it's like it's kind of like that, but it's like a little, you know, it's a little more creative.
It was definitely more creative,
just-
man.
It's not just a bent piece of fucking copper, you know,
Yeah.
plumbing.
Dude, that was the last that I'm pretty sure was the last time you and I did a twofer, and those pipe guns were just unbelievable, man. Especially because we were seeing them in a high budget Star Trek film.
I know. Was it they cannibalized Riker's trombone and made like 3 guns? What the fuck?
Oh my god, dude.
But yeah, that's sort of where I was at
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that like revolver, you know, Gatling gun sort of
Yeah.
thing that somehow both Strat Gibson and fucking Ibanez Schechter are fucking using. Like, the both of them are. Yeah.
I like Ibanez Steinberger. That actually
right,
sounds like
Ibanez
it could be a
Steinberger.
real
Sorry,
person
sorry,
too, man.
sorry.
No, it's fine.
GL Schechter.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know. I was digging the weaponry. Like the bladed weaponry was pretty cool too. You know, like all that stuff was decent. The fight scenes, dude, we had a lot of slow mo, man. A lot of slow mo. A lot of weird yelling. A lot of slow mo. A lot of
a lot of. I was like, "Where's Arnie when you need him?" You know, like there was a lot of just like,
yeah, totally, man. Because nobody does it better.
And then Fender Tremolo, just like everything's like, like it's like, wow, there's a lot of ADR here. Like, did they like overdub his voice completely?
Yeah,
in this
it was
movie,
completely
or was he really
overdubbed.
doing that? It was completely overdubbed. Okay,
100%. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. He was, but everybody was, dude. Like, not only was it ADR'd, but it was like everybody was yelling as well, and the yelling sounded weird because it was ADR'd.
It was all ADR.
You know, like the girl. Like I remember when they they go through this. This is the weirdest part. I mean, not the weirdest part, obviously, but like they go into the sewer to escape. And then they come out in the middle of a field, and then they just take off, and they start running, and like everybody that's chasing them is doing all the weird yelling as well, and it sounded so bizarre. Everybody was like, "Roar!" And the girl was like, "Roar!"
I feel like they absolutely. There were definitely parts where I saw like somebody move their mouth, and there was no sound.
100%.
It's like I feel like they did a lot in the editing, you know, like they did. They eliminated some shit. They had people come back in and record stuff. Like
they had to, man.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, they had to because they were working with what the material that they had to work with was not acceptable and too violent. So they were fighting against the producers who were like, I mean, not literally, but like they were fighting against the material. The producers were like, yeah, no way this is going to be a movie. And then they're fighting against the ratings association that was like, dude, this is an X. It's so bloody and so violent.
It's a lot of trouble to release like a basically straight to video. You know? Did this actually get a theatrical release?
Yeah, it did. But it was yeah,
it did. Wow.
It had to. I remember seeing the ad for it, like you. I mean, but it.
Yeah, I saw it like it was like a late night HBO deal. First time I saw it.
I did too, but I do remember the trailer, dude, and I remember being pumped about it because it was Van Damme and it was like sci-fi, you know? But then I never saw it. Yeah. I mean, if the studio was going bankrupt, then the release had to be super limited, if at all. I mean, it's conceivable that they even ran the trailer, then were never able to release it in the theaters because they had no money and they went bankrupt. That is totally conceivable.
Right. I feel like you used to, HBO would show trailers for shit sometimes.
That's true. They would.
Like, and they're like, coming up next kind of thing, like, I feel like I caught it then.
Maybe that was it.
So, who knows? But
I don't know. I mean,
who knows?
This movie exists in such a weird space, man. So it's like the nexus of like a company failing and like everything completely going to shit. You know what I mean? And it's like you're trying to produce like a piece of work, a piece of art, you know what I mean? Like, while all of this stuff is just completely imploding, it must have been extremely difficult to push it out. And that's saying it lightly, you know?
Piece of art.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking like, wow, were they really going for something like this?
Well, no. I mean, I'm using like the royal art, like,
sure.
Where,
okay.
You know what I mean? Like, as in the sense that, like, if you get somebody that releases like a movie on that they shot this low budget, on YouTube, you're like, people are, they're making art, man. They're doing the best that they can. I mean it in that way. I'm not saying that like this movie is akin to like Road Warrior, which is like basically a masterpiece. You know what I mean? Not in the slightest.
No.
Did they ever say in the movie why they're called slingers?
Nope.
Okay. So we don't know.
Not that I'm aware of.
That we don't know why.
They just are.
Yeah. We don't know why they're called slingers. We don't know why she's a cyborg. We just know.
It's quite possible that I missed that.
No.
I feel like any explanation would be unsatisfactory or just, well, okay then.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just like everything else about the movie. Really.
Yeah.
The entire plot line is like, well, okay then.
All right. So I had pulled up the page on Wikipedia a little while back. And like in the synopsis, a plague known as the Living Death cripples civilization. A small group of surviving scientists and doctors located in Atlanta, home of the CDC. I completely forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Works on a cure to save what remains of humanity. Now, I don't recall anybody talking about that in the beginning of the movie.
I feel like there's a bit of like exposition,
There, there is, but that's not in there. You're talking about like when the guy's like, "Don't worry, you're in good hands with whatever guitar name that guy was, who gets killed straight away in the
Strat Marshall."
Yeah, whatever. Exactly. Like there was a doctor who was like, "You're in good hands."
Isn't there a narration?
What?
No. Go ahead. No, I was just going to say. I felt like there was like a narration by Fender Tremolo. Like.
Oh shit! You know what? You might be right.
Where it's like, at the end he's like, why make it better? I like death. I like misery. I like this world.
I want another wrestling match. I don't know. I think you may be right, dude.
Fender Tremolo as played by Nathan Explosion.
Totally. Oh man. I don't remember anybody saying that at the beginning, and I feel like if they had said that at the beginning, it would have cleared a lot up. Maybe they did, but I don't remember that. And I was still like, just the whole way through, I was like, why are they doing all of this shit? Like, I forgot that the CDC exists in Atlanta, but I was like, why are they doing this? Like, why are they going down there? Where did he get this ship? Why are they going down to Atlanta? I couldn't figure any of that shit out. Dude.
Yeah.
Did you have a similar experience?
There's not. I'm like trying to find it. All right. Okay.
No. All right. Take it.
So like, the film opens on like the dystopian hellscape or whatever. And you hear the voice of Fender Tremolo go like, "First, there was the collapse of civilization.
Yes, okay,
anarchy, genocide, starvation. Then things couldn't get worse. We got the plague, the living death, quickly closing its fists over the entire planet. Then we heard the rumors. The last scientists working on a cure that would end the plague and restore the world. Restore it? Why? I like death. I like misery. I like this world." That's the only explanation you get. And then
Ladies
shit
and
just
gentlemen,
starts happening.
Jarhigo. Yes. No, bro, your cold read was better than what we got in the movie, dude. Let's be real here. Yes, there was the exposition at the beginning. There was all of that stuff. So I was wrong. They did explain some of that at the beginning of the movie, but
Yeah, but again, it's still like flimsy as hell.
it's so flimsy, man. And there's no part of it that makes you give a shit. You know what I mean?
Nope.
So like
zero fucks given.
Right, because like, so like when they give the exposition and we start going, it's so flimsy that you're just like, I just don't care, and I'm not invested, and I'm not invested in any of these characters, and like that in and of itself really is the problem, because once that happens at the beginning, you're just like, fuck this.
Yeah, it's hard.
Right.
And the story doesn't do much to like pull you in anymore, I mean, there's all that like there's all that, like the flashbacks that Gibson Rickenbacker is having about,
oh my God,
his found family or whatever, like, he has all those flashbacks like where he gets found by Fender Tremolo, and then they like rape and kill his wife, and they steal his kid or whatever and leave him for dead, and he's like, that's his whole motivation for wanting to kill Fender, but
right.
It's still like, oh, well, okay, then.
Exactly. It is like, okay, then, because you don't, I mean, I gotta say, like the flashback scenes and what they were trying to do there, like I definitely appreciate that, and like I thought it was pretty cold that like he made the little girl like
Sure.
hold the barbed wire and lower them into the well and all that sort of stuff, and then later on we see the little girl is all grown up and she's with Fender, and it's like, dude, but you know, again, there's just. There's not a whole lot to make you care about it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, there wasn't enough time spent, like, you know,
exactly,
endearing you to those characters. You know, it's just
exactly.
like you're like, oh shit, sorry, bro, that's bad that
Yeah.
that happened to you. You know,
Yeah. Oh, bummer, bro. Okay, cool. What's next?
dude, bummer.
Right? I mean, and I gotta say, dude, that wig that he was wearing, dude, like made him look like he had just stepped out of like the French Revolution and into you know, the sorry, dude, it's true.
I know.
It's so true, man. Come on. Right? And he was trying, dude. Like, I could see it. I was like, he was really, really putting the effort in, dude. And I that's one of the things I love about Van Damme, dude. I mean, you say what you want about him, dude. But I really appreciate that about him, that he wanted the movies that he made to be good, and he really tried. You know what I mean? Was he always good? I'm not saying.
Sometimes he was. Sometimes they were. Sometimes they weren't, you know.
That's
sometimes
correct.
he wasn't either.
Exactly right.
But, you know, he's... I never cared for him much when I was, like, younger. I don't know why. I just didn't...
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's the dude that does splits. Like,
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I just wasn't into him. But I've developed more of an appreciation over the years
Yeah.
for,
I
you know...
Yeah, I have a similar feeling, man. Like I liked him, but I thought he was kind of weird, you know? Like I was like, I don't know. I thought his clothes were kind of weird and like all this like splits and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
I feel
it was
bad.
like,
We should do like Bloodsport at some point, because I feel like we owe it to Jean-Claude Van Damme to do like one of his good movies, you know.
oh, definitely,
Like,
dude.
we've
And
got
I think
this and Double Wimp Act under our belts, and
Dumbo.
it's
Totally.
not his top material, that's for sure.
No, not representative. Not representative. And I think like I definitely want to hit Time Cop and I want to hit Bloodsport as well. I had somebody that I wanted to bring on for Bloodsport. It's like his favorite movie, and I was like, well, start
Kickboxer.
listening to the show and come on. And like he keeps not doing that. So eventually we're gonna just have to do it. But I think Time Cop is a great movie, and I think that Bloodsport is really good too. And there's other ones too. You're right. We do need to do some Van Damage and do him some justice for sure.
Yeah.
The plot of this movie is a total
You know what,
mess. I think we've established that. Yep. Go ahead.
It's we've well established that, yeah. I think at one point before we got derailed on, I don't remember what we got derailed on, but you were starting to get into fight scenes, etc. So, and I think we got derailed by like the weird sounds they were making, and then went on a different tangent. But
yeah,
probably talked about the fighting a little bit.
Yeah, the fighting was, you know, kind of very typically Van Damme. I did because it was so cheesy. I dug the like rusty nail retractable boot knife in the toe of his boot, dude. I mean, come on. That thing was awesome. Because it was so cheesy, dude, and shitty.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Now, I here's a great nugget. There was a guy on the movie, and I don't know if it was from that nail in the boot specifically, but he got clipped in the eye during one of the fight scenes, and he actually lost his vision in that eye for the rest of his life. And even
What?
he even took no, this is true, dude. And he it's real, Ben.
Poor son of a bitch, man.
Right? He did. He lost the use of his eye, and he even took Van Damme to court over it and won some kind of settlement, dude. The guy's name was Jackson Rock Pinkney. In his, there was a sword fight scene, and his eye got permanently damaged, blinding him in that eye. And he took Van Damme to court, and he won a settlement
Holy
because of
shit.
it. I mean, of all of the projects,
I would have been fucking pissed too.
yeah, because of all the projects that you could have, like activities, film projects and things you could have done to lose the vision in one of your eyes, this piece of shit movie is not a great thing for that to happen.
No, dude.
You know what I mean? Like,
even if it was on Thunderdome, that would be better, you know? And
yeah, exactly.
marginally
That's
so,
what
but still better.
That's what I'm saying. Or if you were like, dude, I was climbing K2, or like I was saving somebody from a burning building. You know what I mean? Like, there's no silver lining to that. There's no flip side. There's no upside. There's no any side. It's terrible.
But even just like a memorable movie even would be better than
exactly
this, you know?
I know, exactly.
Well, I lost my sight, but people love my character and I got a bunch of work from it, you know? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like you could reckon with it at that point, but yeah.
No. Terrible.
Poor son of a bitch. Oh my God.
I know, I feel bad. I really do. It's pretty terrible, dude. So, we've established that the plot of the movie is terrible. We've covered that. We were about to get into the fight scenes a little bit. There's a lot of slow-mo. There's a lot of sort of signature Van Dammage going on, you know, like the super dramatic high kicks and the spin kicks and all that stuff. And unfortunately, none of it really jumped out at me because it's kind of poorly filmed, you know, in a lot of the sections, man. Like there's that big fight scene in that kind of like, I don't know what that is, that like factory kind of situation where they escape in the sewer. I don't know what exactly where they were, but then there's the other one at the end in the rain, you know, with old Fender himself. And it's, you know, agree?
It goes on and on and on.
It does. It definitely goes on a little too long. It definitely goes on a little bit too long, and
not
go ahead.
Not a great payoff at the end either. No. You know, it's like he roundhouse kicks him onto a meat hook or something.
Yeah,
you know?
And it's like
he finally shuts up. You know, he's like, it's like a fucking robot winding down or something. It's just.
God, I should have. You know, this movie's so bad. I should have started.
I don't know. There was some funny shit, man. I remember. I think it might have been like one of the, you know, him fighting one of the like minions in like the final sort of sequence, and like somehow the dude gets caught on fire, and then like just as an insult to injury, he fucking roundhouse kicks the dude in the face. I'm like, bro, he was already on fire. Like,
he's already on fire, bro. You didn't need to kick him in the face. That was good.
Jesus.
Yeah. I love how they show like when Fender is like, you know, he's about to like enter the fight. Like this is like the final showdown coming, and they just show like his boots in the floor, and you see the male hit the ground, and you're like, oh boy.
See the male hit the ground?
The male hits the ground, dude, and you're like, oh boy, now this shit's about to get real, dude.
Yeah. Never you mind what happened to the poofy sleeve jester shirt that he was wearing underneath.
Dude, what was up with that, man? That was like the straight up puffy shirt from Seinfeld, colored black and red. I mean, that was terrible.
Dude, what was up with that? It's like all that shit, and then like the Oakley like safety glasses, you know, like the fucking turbo,
kind of like the wannabe gargoyles,
big blocky looking, you know. What's
like
that?
They were like the wannabe gargoyles that Arnold wore in Terminator, but they were like the knockoffs because they had a terrible budget for the movie, you know?
Yes, the shitty version of that, for sure.
And tell me the whole time, because he wore them the entire time, and tell me you were not like, were you not dying to hand that guy a microfiber rag so he could clean those glasses, dude? Because there's no way he could have seen.
Oh my God, dude.
He could see out of them, dude. I was like, I even wrote that in my notes. I was like, dude, get this man a microfiber
waiting for somebody to
glove.
pop out of nowhere and just be like, excuse me, let me see your glasses, man.
Sir, I couldn't help but notice. Exactly.
Here you go.
Yeah, that was driving me crazy, dude. So it's like we finally get the glasses off and the male hits the ground, and you know that the shit's about to get real, dude, and we're about to see the final fight.
Yeah.
which was
Oh, Bruce, you want to be part of the podcast, buddy?
yeah, totally. We love cats.
Hey, Bruce.
Bruce?
Really?
Why Bruce?
Really, Bruce? He's like right in the microphone right now. For
Is he
some
named
reason.
after Bruce?
Oh, no keyboard, dude. No keyboard.
Is he named after Bruce Campbell or Bruce Banner? Or
His name is Bruce. Well, I call him Bruce.
Okay.
But the long version is Bruce Beans.
Bruce Beans, dude. I like it.
But Bruce Beans, I think, was a truncation of Bruce Pink Beans.
Okay.
As opposed to Bruce Springsteen.
Ah, I like that. I
'Cause,
like that a lot, dude. That's a good kitty
there was-
name, man.
There was some crooning, but yeah, he's a dope cat. He's got a lot of. He's funny as
I
hell.
like that.
And just like a big beefy fucking. He's not giant, but he's like muscular, and he's got like a big stupid head.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't know. He's great.
That's awesome,
I
man.
love Bruce. Thanks for joining us,
Yeah,
Bruce.
Bruce. We love you, baby.
So, yeah, Cyborg sucked. Fucking hate that movie.
Yeah, Cyborg sucked. I fucking hate that movie. So,
I
Go
was
ahead.
going to say the glasses only existed so that when he took them off, you could get like the shock of like the
crazy eyes.
the ice blue contacts
Oh my god, that was
that he was wearing there.
so. That is exactly why they did it, and if you think about it, dude, that's a lot of money to spend for such a crappy payoff. You know, like
It's so crappy.
it's so crappy because it's like, okay, whatever. So the guy's eyes are kind of like ice. Like, so what? At this point, you've like made it through the entire movie. It's like you're so tired and you're so upset about spending all the time with the movie. Like, you don't even care about his eyes, dude.
No, you don't care about anything. Like by the end of it, you're like, I can't shake the feeling that maybe he was meant to save the world.
That was so bad.
All right, I'm out.
That was so bad. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that was bad, dude. Or like when they get her to because spoiler alert for everybody that's listening that hasn't seen it, Jean-Claude Van Damme wins the fight against Fender, and then they get the girl to the CDC, and like this super weird door opens, and like there's a scientist there, and they take her inside, and they're like, "Hey, you should be in here with us." And Van Damme, like, he's just gone through hell to like get this cyborg to the CDC, and he just goes, "No, they need me out there." And then he turns around and he leaves. Like, that's it. Like, that's the movie, dude.
That's it. That
is it. And then we get the credits. Terrible. And he looks all tired and beat up. It's like, dude, you're not even going to go in for a glass of water? Shower?
Yeah, right, man. Why don't you go in and chill out?
Exactly. Grab a meal.
Have some eggs and bacon.
Exactly. Have a shower and some eggs and bacon, dude.
Fucking take a shower. Maybe have a drink. Or
Oh
something.
my god.
Christ. Maybe get a fucking Sunny D.
or an adult Sunny D, if that's still a thing in the future. Jesus, man. Poor Gibson.
Maybe a Seagram's.
Yeah.
Golden wine cooler. Just
Get yourself a Jamaican. Jamaican me happy.
Jamaican me happy.
So I was kind of saving like the best part for last, if there is such a thing as a best part of this movie.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect time to throw that in.
So best part is that Fender is played by Vince Klein, who's actually a professional surfer and was also Warchild in Point Break, which we just recently covered. So the second I saw him, I was like, dude, it's freaking Warchild from Point Break. And then I was like, well, he looks kind of bigger. I was like, let me double check that. Sure enough, it was him. And I just like, I couldn't believe it, dude. I couldn't believe it. I still don't believe it. Because like Point Break came out like 2 years after this movie. And the other thing is that they dubbed his entire voice in the movie, which was just bizarre, man. And it must have been super weird as an actor. I know that I would think that was weird if somebody did that to me if I was in a production. So
Yeah, I mean they did it to Arnie in like the Hercules
that's true.
movie, but I can't think of any other
Yeah, but
examples of that.
yeah,
you know?
sure, but Arnold's accent was super thick. This guy speaks English and speaks it well. It's not like like his voice is in a higher register, and it's like, but it's not like he's like okay, hey guys, we need to go down to Atlanta and get the cyborg. He's not like that. You know what I mean? Like, like we get a little bit of a taste in Point Break. He doesn't have a ton of lines, but it's like you can hear his voice. It's like, yeah, it's higher, but it's not like high. It's probably, I don't know, like my voice when it's on a really, really great day. When I'm like,
yeah, it was a bizarre choice to overdub it with like the most overdone,
right?
Like, fucking cartoon villain,
Darth
voice,
Vader-y, total cartoon villain. Yes,
bad cartoon villain
terrible.
Because they could have got anybody,
but they got him
to do it. I'm sure.
Right.
Like, I mean, I would have rather had the high pitch, like have like Chris Latta, Cobra Commander come in and step in.
Yes.
You insolent fools! Get them!
God, it hurts my voice to do that.
Yeah,
now.
That is weird.
Yeah, it was super weird. So like, I don't know. That's sort of like that was the coolest thing for me watching this movie was seeing that Warchild was in it. Well, that and Ralph Moeller's in it. So Ralph Moeller is like I'm pretty sure he's a buddy of Schwarzenegger's. He's like a bodybuilding guy. He's huge. He played
Oh yeah.
He's been in a ton of movies, but I think most famously for me anyway, he played Hagen in Gladiator. He was like kind of
Gladiator.
Yeah, he was Maximo's right hand guy, and he's a great actor, man. And he's a total beefy German guy, man. I mean, he's whatever. He's a total beefcake. But he had I like that he was in it. He had a super weird part, and he died in a super weird way in the sewer when he chases Van Damme in the sewer, and then
Rick Bard.
Yeah, and then Van Damme kind of Mario's him to death.
Oh yeah, he's fucking
on the top of the thing.
He's that's the word I'm looking for. Machete guy.
Yeah, machete guy. Yeah,
machete guy. Machete pirate. Whatever.
Yeah, no. You're right.
Any other fun bits? Facts?
Factoids? No. I mean, there's a freaking...
Factoids?
I know we didn't really sort of... I mean, there's so much lore about this movie. It's ridiculous, man. Like, I kind of gave, like, the highlights and some of the best parts of it. One thing I will say... that one thing that I caught that I thought was kind of cool is that... because I like Wu-Tang and I like Method Man... Method Man sampled most of Fender's opening monologue as the opening lyrics in the song Judgment Day from his 1998 album, which I thought is kind of cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. That album was called Tikal.
I'm not seeing it. Did the voice actor get any credit in the movie, or was it just like a sweep it under the rug, pretend it's not happening kind of a thing?
You mean the guy that dubbed Fender's voice?
Anything. Yeah.
As far as I know, I didn't see it in the credits.
No, I'm not seeing it in like on IMDb and the cast.
No, I didn't see it there either, man. Hang on one second. Let me just see if it's in here. I mean, there's one more nugget that's worth mentioning. That the guy who directed the movie, Albert Payun, he died in 2022. But he had been developing a prequel to this film, which was titled like Cyborg: Rise of the Slingers. Wow. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know what you're thinking if you're trying to develop a prequel, like literally 50 years later or whatever, 40 years later. I mean, the movie was so terrible, dude. The guy that dubbed the voice, his name was Branscombe Richmond. That was the actor who dubbed his voice.
Fascinating.
I know. No credit to speak of. Not in IMDb, not in the credits. It's kind of weird.
American character actor and stuntman.
Right?
Oh, I know that dude. I've seen that dude and stuff before.
Oh, shit. I've seen that guy, too.
Mortal Kombat, They Live, Hard to Kill. He was in Renegade. He was one of the main characters.
Renegade? What was that? Scorpion King, Hard to Kill? Totally. I remember that guy.
I never watched it, but I recognized the title screen.
Dude, he was in They Live.
Yeah, right?
Sweet.
That's what I just said.
Huh. That's weird. Oh, you said They Live as well? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I did. We're probably looking at the same
thing.
IMDb page.
Interesting. Cool.
I'm reading it.
Well, that's cool to know that, man. I've definitely seen that guy in tons of stuff, dude.
It's interesting to see that he was the dude that did the voice.
I know.
Yeah.
Because, like, my recollection of his
Wacky.
voice is that it's not, like, all Darth Vader-y like that.
No.
You know what I mean?
But I guess, neither does Mark Hamill sound like a lunatic. He does when he does the Joker voice.
That's true. He does. You're definitely right about that. Okay. Deaths. We had 0 deaths.
No deaths.
I think it's safe to say that this
was kind of a death to have to watch this.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this movie was kind of DOA in many respects. Like, it was, I mean, the production company was dying when it was made. And unfortunately, this movie is a little bit DOA.
Not much pulse.
Yeah, no, there's not. It's a weak pulse at best. I would say for recommendations, like, if you're any kind of sci-fi fan, person from the 80s, or you just like shitty movies, just go watch it. It's definitely worth a watch. Like, you probably get a chuckle out of it. There's some seriously weird shit in it, and it's so hard to follow. The plot's terrible. But yeah, I would just go watch it at least one time so you can say, oh yeah, I saw that. That's it.
If you're in the mood for just like some, because this is not the only wacky movie canon put together.
Totally.
Like, if you're in the mood for that and you haven't seen it, like, if you're in the mood for more of that and you haven't seen this, then, like, by all means, enjoy.
But you must be in the mood. We're stressing in the mood, folks.
Absolutely.
Why do we say that? Because if you're like us, we don't have a choice. We had to watch the movie.
Yes.
And I was not
like it was our job
in the mood,
which it kind of is,
to watch it. Oh my God. So yeah, that's it. I would say watch it. Ditto Benny.
Yeah.
That's it.
I would too, but under very special circumstances.
Yeah, agreed. So that's it.
All right.
I think we'll leave it right there. That's good enough for this one.
What are we doing next week, Kev?
We've got our good friends, the Stallones, coming back. Need to get a little double confirmation on that, but yeah. The boys are back.
Excellent.
They got a new album, and they're going to come on the show. We're going to talk about a movie that is yet to be determined. You can bet it's going to be some kind of 80s movie or Stallone movie. So stay tuned for that next week. That'll be exciting.
It will.
Indeed. And that's it. For all of us here at the EBD Podcast, we love you. So long for now.
Good night.
And that's going to wrap up this week's episode, folks. If you'd like to check out the show notes for this episode, folks, you can do so in your podcast app of choice or on our website, ebd.fm/episodes/270. As always, we'd like to take a minute and thank everybody that supports the show and has supported the show low these many years. We really appreciate it. And if you're interested in helping out, here's what you can do to help support us. You can tell a friend to check out the show. You can also rate us and review us wherever you get your podcasts. And you can contribute directly on Patreon if you like. Patreon.com/EBD podcast. And we sure do appreciate all the help we've gotten over these many years. If you'd like to get down with us on social media, you can. We lurk around on Instagram. We use the handle @EBD podcast. So come join in on the conversation. Thanks for joining us for the turd that is Cyborg, and we'll see you next week with the Rolling Stallones for the as yet untitled film. So long for now, folks.
beady. Stop into it.